Well, folks, welcome to the fourth Virtual American Town Hall. And my name is Mohammed Faheem, and joining me shortly would be my co-host, Pastor Lawrence Blackful. And this is something that we started on October 1st. The website that you can go to is www.thevath.com, and you can check out the previous shows. You can also check us out on our Facebook page and our YouTube page. Spread the word. The idea is that we, as the common American people, are not being given a voice by the media that is bought and paid for by all kinds of interests. So, what do? This is your place. This is your town hall. It's going to be our country, our voice. Feel free to chime in. And every Thursday, we meet here at 6 o'clock. And today, we're going to be going back a little bit to what we started to discuss the last time. But before I go there, heard something disturbing today, John, which kind of, got my goat up or my gander up. I don't know what the correct expression is over here in the States. What kind of country are we running over here?
Well, we're kind of flying it by the seat of our pants on a daily basis. We make it up as we go, and if you were a lawyer in Cook County, you just throw everything at the wall and hope something sticks.
Well, so I'm looking at the national picture. Folks, what we try to do here in the virtual town hall is we try to take two national issues, two local issues. And anything that you want us to talk about or you want to talk about, feel free to go to the website and send us, your suggestions, and we'll be happy to talk about those and let you talk about those things. But 545, children that were separated at the border, we can't find their parents.
Yeah, that's because the parents were well. There's a couple different scenarios that are playing out. I saw that this morning. Scenario number one is that those 545 children are all United States citizens, born here, have a United States birth certificate.
Okay.
But their parents are not from here, so they're being deported back. The problem is that they cannot deport United States citizens. Now, the other scenario that seems to be playing out right now is the scenario where these are called rental children, and the rental children are being brought across. The people that are bringing these children across are claiming that these are their children, and they're hoping that they will be able to seek asylum utilizing these rental children to make a better life for themselves here. Now, I understand a better life here. I get that. This whole idea that children are fungible or children are just more of a throwaway variety on getting these people across the border and here and everything else, that is a real sad commentary.
Well, my understanding, and meanwhile, Pastor Blackful is joining us. Pastor Blackful, welcome. And, we kind of missed you in the beginning, so we thought, okay, let's start on time, and we got started. I've got John Runion, and Pete is in the background over there. He's trying to get his audio on. Hey, I had audio issues before. Now he's having audio issues. Okay. My understanding, John, was that these people, these children, their parents cannot be found.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I heard. So now with all the technology we have, when we get these children and separate them from their parents, can't we do a simple DNA and track these parents? Okay. And the children and kind of, but that kind of, got me thinking that things are really not what they should be in a great country like ours. I don't think that we have made America great again in the last 4 years. I'm sorry to say that, but, things could have been so much better. I don't want to get into the political angle of it, but just look at you know, healthcare. Another thing that is really, really, catching my attention. You know how many people are coming up to me, John, calling me up, asking for advice on, I got laid off again. I don't have health care from my employer. What do I do? How do I do it? And, I keep hearing, oh, yeah, I got a plan. I got a plan. Man, show me the plan. Don't tell me that you're going to be giving executive orders with no plan to back it up. I mean, there is a plan. What someone was telling me, and this is very interesting, what I was told was that the Obamacare plan is actually a Republican plan. It was never implemented, and it was kind of brought in by Obama, not original thinking there also. So what are we paying these guys for? I mean, making hundreds and thousands of dollars in salaries. It is obscene. And then they go back and they get pensions once they retire from Congress or, being the president.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I can see a pension for the president because that's the last job he will ever have. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
Jimmy, President Carter, Jimmy Carter, he went back to building houses, which I think is so cool.
Mhm.
But a lot of times, what are you going to offer to the president of the United States as a job? I mean,
Well, I mean, these guys make a lot of money consulting, giving talks and all of that. So I'll let go on the pension angle of it. But what do you think about the 220,000 plus people, Americans that are dead right now? And I was looking at the numbers, 100,000 plus businesses closed. I'm not talking of jobs. I'm talking of 100,000 plus businesses that are being closed. Then I look at the other side of it. Millions of jobs have been lost, not just because of this. And Congress now, these guys are fighting. Republicans, Democrats, they're sitting over there, throwing mud at each other and not giving any more stimulus to the people who really need it right now. So we're going to, we want this and we want that, we want this and we want that. What kind of children have you elected to these places?
Well, I think that's a good point that you bring up. When we look at the 200,000 folk who have folk who have lost their lives to this virus, the thing that's perplexing is to know that to not hear empathy or sympathy coming from our highest levels of government for the 200,000 plus families who have lost loved ones, who will spend these coming holidays without those individuals a part of their lives. But the fact that those that are left behind still have to deal with the impact of the virus on their household financially, as well as the emotional toll that it's taking. And to now say that it is more important to appoint and go through a process of appointing a Supreme Court justice rather than coming back to Congress to work on a stimulus package to take care of the citizens who have put you in office, whether they supported the president or those senators or not. We are the United States of America, and the people should come first and not politics. And I think that what has happened with this pandemic and with the lack of a stimulus, politics is coming.
Well, I think you are having
And
some
it's time for
audio
that to
issues again,
change.
Pastor Blackful. We are kind of cutting in and out on you. But you brought up, Judge Barrett's nomination and what
Okay.
is happening, in the Senate right now. What was the hurry? I mean, Judge Barrett has a stellar record. I mean, great person, wonderful, judge. But forever, for the rest of her life, she's going to have that black mark against her that, did she really deserve to be on it? I mean, let's be real. What does the judge think about it? Why is she putting herself in a position to where for the rest of her life and even afterwards, her legacy is going to be tarnished? What do you think, John?
Well, I hearken back. Ooh, hearken.
Hearken.
I hearken back to the confirmation hearings of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas,
Mhm.
and those were absolutely highly contentious. They were just absolutely horrible from both sides of the fence, and I think he really put it into a light when he had had enough, and he looked at everybody in the Senate and he said, you know what, this is nothing more than a high-tech lynching.
Yep.
And
I
that is
remember
always,
that remark. Yep.
that
Yes.
has always struck me
Mhm.
as a real shame that we have debased ourselves to petty politics, because no matter how great the individual is that is being thought to be put onto the Supreme Court of the United States, there's always going to be a core group that says, we don't like this person because he's not our person.
No doubt.
I find it highly shameful that the whole Democrat caucus did not participate in the questioning and so on and so forth. They didn't show up in the House. They didn't show up at all. And you asked that question, Mohammed. Who are we putting into office here? Well, that's been my argument for a while. I mean, we're about to watch the next presidential debate
Tonight.
tonight, and we have to have a mute button.
Oh, I believe the debate commission has put that rule in place. So there is going to be a mute button tonight.
Right.
Yes.
And we have to have
Yeah.
have a mute button. Can you believe this? These are the two men that we're going to select. And I'm just back to the same old argument.
Yeah.
We're going to select one of these guys to be the president, the leader of the free world. Here he is. And I'm sorry, we're back to sixth grade school, and we've got to put in a mute button because of the petty squabbling and the failure to answer questions.
So John, hang on a second, kind of like this. Keep on talking.
Really nice.
Right.
Yeah.
See, that's all it takes, man. That's all it takes.
Well,
Okay.
and I think that, I think that sixth graders could know how to conduct themselves much better.
Got it.
I think sixth graders could conduct themselves much better than we have seen in these recent debates. But, I do understand also why the Democrats decided to boycott the hearings. I do understand that if they were in the room, it's nothing that they're going to say.
Well, but let me
That's
ask
going to
Pastor
change.
Blackful, let me ask you this, though. I understand that they had no control. It's a done deal, okay?
Process.
But heck, you know what? I hired these people to represent me. Show up. Even if you're protesting, show up, man. That's why we sent you to Congress. I don't care. You know that you lost the battle. But if you just turn your tail and run away from the battlefield, what have they achieved?
Well, again, you have to use the resources that are available. And Democrats really don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to making a difference in this process.
I know that.
So,
I know that. But I mean, at least they could have been in the room, right? What were they doing? Let me ask you this. What were they doing? Now, I looked up to see where were these people? What were they doing? Guess what? They were throwing mud at the other people outside of, Congress. I mean, I'm getting
agreed.
so much
And
mud
that's the
thrown.
nature of our politics, unfortunately, right now.
So how do we fix it? That is what this whole,
The way that we fix it is that when number one, that good people who can conduct themselves and not become corrupted once they are elected, and never forget that our government is of the people, for the people, and by the people.
By the people.
And when we remember that it is the people who elect us into office, and when you can elect people who never forget that they work for the people, and that, I think, is the fundamental cause of all of the issues that we see in our politics on every level of government, from the local all the way up to the highest level, is that individuals have forgotten that they work for the people and that the people don't work for them.
Well, that brings me back to something I really wanted to discuss tonight. And we will be finishing off in about half an hour, like I said in the beginning. So about 6:30, 6:35, let's finish off. There's plenty of presidential debate parties that I have to be part of today to see what's happening. Role of money in politics. I mean, look at the millions of dollars that these candidates and their surrogates, their supporters are spending. The political action committees and all of that. Man, that money could be better spent in growing the economy of the country. If
Absolutely.
I elect you to represent me, I want you to come back when Congress is not in session, or the House is not in session, the Senate is not in session, the local state, legislatures. I expect you to come back, meet me, meet my communities, find out what is bugging us at the grassroots level. Don't wait for 2 years or 4 years to come back, throw money at my face, throw mud at the other person, and expect me to vote for you.
Right.
Unfortunately, we have not had a platform to express these thoughts because the local media, the national media, is all bought and paid for. We know that, okay? We have no say at all.
Agreed.
But now, thank God for social media, we can get the word out. And I hope that more and more people start asking these questions. When I get something in the mail, I got like 3 messages today. Oh, I'm so-and-so volunteering for so-and-so, and I'm calling to see if we have your support. No, thank you. Number one, I don't know you. I don't know how you got my number. Okay, who gave you my number? I don't pick up on unknown phone calls. Thank God for that technology coming in. But it is becoming so painfully obvious now that we are going down this, this rabbit hole, and we don't know if we are going to be coming out of that rabbit hole till someone says, hey, enough is enough.
Well, there's been so much discussion about campaign finance reform over the years. There's been some measures implemented, but what we have to understand is that we live some.
Okay, you're cutting in and out again. I think
you can't do something. Someone's going to find a way to get it done. And so it is. I believe there's always going to be the loopholes that are there.
Well, that's so.
I don't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
I think one of the first things that we have to do is we have to set term limits. I mean, this whole idea that I'm going to work my butt off and I'm going to get elected to Congress, or I'm going to get elected to Senate, and once I'm there, I become an incumbent, and I'm going to stay there from now until doomsday, or until they cart me out of my office.
Yeah, remember the guy who was like 90-some years old?
Yeah. I mean, this is absolutely ludicrous. This whole idea that once you're there in perpetuity unless you really do something badly. But what are we doing about it? Well, we're not doing anything because the Senate controls the whole platform as to the Senate rules, and it doesn't say anywhere that they're going to change that. And Congress, same thing. They're not going to change that because they want their fiefdom.
Well, here's the thought, guys. The Senate is 4 years, right?
Every 6,
every 6 years, right?
6 years, and Congress is every 2.
So why don't we make Congress at least every 4 years? Because here's what happens. 2 years is nothing for a new congressman to even get his beak wet into who makes the decisions and what decisions are going to be made, right?
But
And then what
okay.
happens is the moment the guy gets elected, the next cycle starts and he's back fundraising to get reelected. When are they doing the work that they were elected for? You
Well,
know,
well,
let me
well,
ask
one.
you this, Pastor Blackful and
Well,
John, right?
mhm.
If we hire someone and the guy comes in to work, 1 day a week, and then the rest of the time he's out there trying to hustle some money so that he could pay us off to keep the job for the next 2 years. Why, who came up with this great system of 2 years for Congress?
Well, here's the thing that I think is the root of the need for term limits, and that is individuals get into positions of power, and they become drunk on power,
Yep.
and power becomes more important than the people and the process or anything else that's important. And so what happens is the reason, I don't think that we will ever see term limits in Congress or the Senate is because the very people that we're asking to change the rules are the ones who are drunk with this power. And so what's happening is those who have the power don't want to let it go. And
Yep.
those who don't have it can't wait for their turn or an opening to come for them to bump up and become those in power over these various committees and such. And so they're not going to support term limits. I had this conversation earlier, and I said, now some of the newer candidates that aren't career politicians, they would be supportive. I think they would be open, but the majority are not going to go for it because they don't want to let go of that power.
No, I understand that, but that's where I want to go. In 2 years, obviously, you are still learning the ropes of how
Yes,
things function. So 2 years is not enough for a freshman congressman.
I agree.
I
I
would like
agree.
to see, Congress terms increase at least to 3 or 4 years, and then 2 terms. That's it. Okay. If you cannot do something in 8 years in Congress, give someone else a chance. I mean, when I am planning on running in 2022, and when I was running even for the village board over here in Plainfield, I was running on a platform of term limits, even for the village board members. We had people there for 20 years.
Hmm.
I mean, we had a guy who was like 4:30 in the evening. There's a big hearing going on in the village hall. Let's come down to local level now. Big hearing going on for a warehouse that was to be built in the residential neighborhood in Plainfield.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
4:30 in the evening,
Mm-hmm.
you know, our mayor says, "Oh man, it's been a long day." The hearing started at 3 o'clock. In an hour and a half, he's sitting there nodding off. I'm glad he's not running again. Okay. He said that he's not going to run again, but he has been a mayor forever.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get these people. I mean, I come from a culture where age is venerated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Older people are looked upon, are looked up to,
Yes.
but not if you are there and someone has to assist you to go to the bathroom. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Bring some new thoughts, new ideas. But then, the warehouse was passed. There was a lot of money that changed hands. And again, it comes back to the same thing. I mean, who has the money rules these politicians.
Right. Right. And there's a saying, I think it goes, you know, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts
Absolutely.
absolutely. And
Mhm.
so, you know, that's really what it comes down to. Once folk have this power, they will do anything to hold on to it. And folk who know that they have that power will offer them everything get access
To that power. Yep. So it's coming up to our half an hour witching time now, and we will finish off in a few minutes. Folks, this is the Virtual American Town Hall. I am Mohammed Faheem. I host it. My co-host is Pastor Blackful, Lawrence Blackful Jr., great
Mhm.
guy. We are out to make a difference.
Yes.
We are not
Yes.
going to be taking any political PAC money or commercial advertising to keep
Mhm.
this thing going. We'll ask for support later on down the road. Let the elections be over. But the whole idea is that people out there, you and I, common people, who are actually doing the job to keep this country and make it great, have got good ideas. We
Absolutely.
got
And
good education. Most of the people that are out there, except for a few, I respect, for example, Congressman Bill Foster.
okay. Yes.
Had been a scientist for over 25 years. The
Mhm.
guy is sharp as a tack even now. He understands things and he is able to relate things back to his constituency. Always there, always available. That is what I want to see, in someone who's going to be representing me. But after these elections are over, we are going to be talking more about on the ground realities. What challenges are you facing on a day-to-day basis? What would you like society to do? How would you like the people that you elect to come to your help? I'm going to bring in a couple of other people. Once these things are over, Geisenheimer is a great guy, runs a staffing agency. And Greg and I have known each other for a while now. Wonderful ideas. I was talking to him this afternoon as to Greg, what do you see in the marketplace? Are there jobs out there? What kind of challenges are your clients presenting to you as far as getting the people, to come and work? And we had a long discussion. He's like, Mohammed, I'm so busy, man. But, once these things are settled down a little bit, I would love to come in and talk about these things. Harry Moser, another great guy. Harry and I had started, along with Ryan Haas, the reshoring initiative. This was to bring back manufacturing from overseas. Harry is doing it full time now. It's a national movement to teach local manufacturers how to actually properly cost the, the cost of making things overseas and how we can bring jobs back to the country. So a lot of good discussions are going to be happening as we go along. Please join us,
Mhm.
take this movement forward. It is for you. It is not for John. It is not for Pastor Blackful. It is not for me. We got our lives. We have other things that keep us busy. But at the end of the day, when we get our final call and we are asked, what did you do when I sent you down? And we say, oh, you know what, God, I was so busy making money that I did not have the time to serve your creation.
Mhm.
That is going to come and bug me. But let's wrap up with, again, my thoughts on the fair tax amendment. How fair is it?
Well, I think that that is one that I have found to be a very, very divisive issue. And I am in support. And so I've already voted, and I voted yes
Okay.
for the fair tax amendment. And I think that those who earn more should pay more. However, I think that we also still need to hold our elected officials' feet to the fire to be fiscally responsible with what comes in to the coffers of our government. And I think that as citizens, we haven't done enough to hold our elected officials
Well, I,
to
I, I
government.
guess I guess Pastor Blackful, this was an opportune movement to say, hey, you know what? Show me a plan. What are you going to do with this money? They have not shown me a plan. Okay, they say, oh, this is going to go here for education. I heard that when they raised the state income tax. Okay, the money did not go anywhere that I could see an impact of it. They don't have a
Well, you know
plan.
that all of the money that is being poured into the lottery system that's going directly to all of our schools. I mean, we have, in no exaggeration, we have the finest schools in the land because of all of the money that has been spent on the lottery and all of the money that the lottery has utilized in making our schools the standard for the nation to look upon. The buildings are incredible. The books are brand new. The computers are the best in the world. And we have nothing but high praise for our educational system that are using that money fiscally, soundly, and most importantly, in a way that helps each and every child achieve their potential. Now, if you believe me, after listening to me say all that stuff, I got some dry land in the Everglades. I'll sell it to you cheap. But I'm just
John, don't get me started on our education system, man. Our education system sucks. I'm sorry. Okay,
I
with all
know.
the money that we're
But
throwing at it.
it was right there, and it was just too easy. Pastor, I'm sorry to tell you this. I know you're going to be highly disappointed, but I just negated your vote, and I voted no. I voted no.
Well, see, this is the
Mohammed
beauty.
did too.
This is the beauty of this country. Okay, we can differ, but come together and look at solutions. You know, I'm looking at Chicago budget was discussed yesterday, right? The proposed Chicago budget. Have you guys paid any attention to that?
$4.1 trillion. Said let's jack up the gas fees by 3 cents. Let's jack up the housing taxes. Let's
Right.
jack up everything
Right.
in the city of
Right.
Chicago. And then you wonder why all of the people that live in the state of Illinois are running for the door.
And they're going to cut 300 city jobs.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is there a plan to retrain those people that are being let go to retrofit them for another job? I haven't seen anything, to that in any of the press releases that I'm reading now. I mean, I agree, we need to cut down some of this stuff in government. Let me give you an example and then we can finish off on that. When I was running for the village of Plainfield, first thing as a businessman, I looked at the village budget.
Right.
Blew me away.
Mm.
The director of IT, along with the healthcare and all of those things, is coming in at about 200,000, 100 and some thousand for his salary, then his vacation pay and healthcare. His
Pension.
assistant is coming in at about 75,000. Now, you and I both know that in today's world, you do not really need an IT department in any business now. IT is being outsourced to companies that specialize in maintaining your equipment, updating your equipment, keeping things in the cloud securely.
And they can do that remotely.
They can do that remotely. So you can have kind of like an assistant to see what is happening in the city, but you don't need a director and an assistant.
Mm-hmm.
I looked again at another thing over there, human resources. Great, you don't need a human resources manager for the village now. How many people is that person going to be hiring and firing on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis? What is the rest of the time they're doing? I mean, you can go ahead and offload all your HR functions to companies that specialize in them. They can offload your payroll functions to companies that specialize. Pennies on the dollar, because the cost is being spread now. I looked at the budget and I said, you know what? You elect me, I can come in and I can safely save about $500,000 without impacting the service to the citizens of the village over here.
But you will impact the way folk pay folk for supporting them. And so what happens is a lot of these jobs and positions are created as favors to supporters and in some cases to family.
There you go. There you go.
Friends of family because if there is a nepotism policy within my village, then what I'll do is I'll get mayor over east to hire my son, and I'll hire his daughter.
Well, and that is something that really caught my attention. The village has an HR, PR department.
Mm-hmm.
And the PR person and the PR assistant is making, close to 150 together.
And oftentimes, if you check the credentials and the qualifications, you have folk in positions who are totally, grossly unqualified for the
Absolutely.
positions that they're holding.
But here's the funny thing. So you have a PR budget, and then in the HR budget, there is a line item of $12,000 for PR.
PR.
I'm like, huh? Well, see, this is the problem. None of the trustees, I guess, ever had a business background
Yeah.
to ask questions like this.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
them and their friends get elected, favors are exchanged, and then suddenly, my taxes go up because, oh yeah, the expenses have gone up. Excuse me a second, those expenses can be cut. This is the age of technology, and like we were discussing with what's his name the other day, Vikar Saidi, about the impact of AI going forward. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's finish off the evening. Thank you, everyone, for participating. Please spread the word. And every Thursday, come on in and join us. I was really surprised that we have had about close to 2,000 views on the website now.
Awesome.
And
awesome.
That is really crazy. And once we get through this election cycle, we'll do some outreach. And because right now, if I send out a press release, no one is going to be paying attention to it.
And once we get it through this coronavirus, then we can, get in the room together and have some conversations, and even take the virtual town hall on the road.
Pastor, please don't stretch it. I don't want to be in the same room with John. He was offering me grapes that he's eating.
Hey, I can hang with John. Hey, I can roll with John. I love it. Hey, let's roll.
Okay, brothers. Thank you all very much, and good night. We will see you next week. Same place, same time. I hope it is not going to be the same grapes.
Well, I'm looking at the three of us, and the thought of the Three Stooges just came to mind, and I guess I'm Curly.
Okay.
That leaves me out to be Shemp because I just don't think that
Okay. All right, gentlemen. Good night.
On that,
have a great one.
On that note, let's finish up tonight. Good night, everybody. Have a nice weekend, nice evening. And remember, if you need help, please reach out. You can go to our website. Pastor Blackful has got resources.
Yes.
I have got resources started through the American Muslims Assisting Neighbors program that we have. You need anything, just let us know. We will be happy to come and drop off things. No questions asked. You don't need to see us. We don't need to see you. You can message us privately. We are here to help during these times. So, gentlemen, it's about 6:40. I think we started about 5 minutes late. But let's, end off the discussion. And as usual, we want to make a habit, John, of having Pastor Blackful finish off our discussion with a prayer. So, Pastor, if you don't mind, please.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you all for the spirited conversation that we've had. And again, once again, to reiterate what you stated earlier, we encourage others to come and be a part of this conversation. We want to hear from you. We want your voice to be heard. As you can see, we don't always agree on everything, but we are able to agree to disagree, and we're able to communicate in a civil manner and respect one another, because all of our voices, our opinions matter. And so we want more folk throughout the country to be a part of these conversations. That being said, let us pray. Thank you once again, God, for this opportunity for us to come together. We ask now, God, that you be with us. We ask that you be with every candidate that's running for public office. We ask, God, that you minister to their hearts, that they will recognize their role as servants. And we ask now, God, that you be with our president and the presidential candidate in the debate tonight. Let it be productive. Let us learn something about these candidates that help to form our decisions, or even in some cases change our decisions, but let it be informative tonight. And we thank you for every person that will be a part and has been a part of this American, virtual American again. In